ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। दुर्जनः सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत वन्देभ्यो मुक्तान् अन्यान् विमोचयेत्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। हरिः ॐ। So last two talks we discussed about meditation, and I tried to prove that science and spirituality, these two terms are there, one physical science, another one spiritual science, and one is object oriented, another one is subject oriented, and meditation comes under spiritual science, and other sciences apart from this comes under physical science. Subject oriented science is spiritual science. It is nothing but meditation, we discussed. And also we discussed that when you go from gross to subtle, sthula to sukshma, power increases. Just like a matter equal to mc square, matter possesses enough strength. In the same way, spiritual science also says that this physical body, in this physical body, we have a divine spark, a divine chip, a soul. It is so subtle and it possesses enough strength. Just like matter possesses enough strength, more than that, immense energy strength that is there in the human body, that is in the soul. So meditation helps us to tap that strength, that innate strength, that inner strength, inner possibilities. It can be manifested if you start meditating. So that also we learnt, and it is nothing but meditation is, otherwise I said it is an experimentation. As spiritual scientists or saints, they said that the man is the source of enough strength, all divine qualities that are present in the soul. So with the help of meditation we can experiment. It means we try to reveal that strength, that innate abilities or hidden possibilities. So what way we can do that experiment? And in order to do any experiment we need an equipment. So here the equipment is nothing but our mind. So with that mind we have to do meditation. That also we discussed. And mind also I said that the more cunning in nature, it is more tactful, and most of the evils is being occurred due to non-controlling of the mind. If mind is not in our control, we do n number of mistakes, blunders. So mind, the problems is being caused by the mind itself. That also we discussed. So meditation, other day I said, it is more challenging because we are trying to handle this mind in our meditation, which is more problematic, which causes restlessness. That is why it is more challenging. But once you achieve the result and the benefits are immense, immense joy we get. Though it is more challenging, but once you try to control the mind, once it is in your control, and the whole life changes and life become more joyful, meaningful, and fruitful also. Then, in order to meditate successfully, we have to know, or we ought to know about the mind. Once you know its nature and how in awakening condition it works, if you know, then you can easily control the mind. So before knowing the process of meditation, we have to know about the mind and its nature. Then let us discuss more about the practicality of meditation. So today in this class, let us know about the mind and its nature. How does it work? In physical science, the scientists or psychiatrists, they say that mind and brain are same. There is no difference. But spiritual science says that the brain and physical brain and mind are quite different. That is why in our Upanishads or spiritual literature, the mind exists in 4 forms, they say. They say mind exists in 4 forms. One is mind, next buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Sometimes we hear that. Manasu, buddhi, chittamu, ahankara. Yes, but same mind in 4 states. So when it is act as a discriminating power that we discuss in later, it is called as a buddhi. When it possesses, it means it is filled with all samskaras, all tendencies, all thoughts, then it is called as chitta. Then when we identify with our false I, that ahankara, sometimes we say, don't you know who am I? Like that ego-ness comes. And that is called, then it is called as a ahankara. Then when it is in fluctuations, in more restlessness, then it is called as a mind. So that is why physical science, brain and mind, they say correct, but same, but in spiritual science, mind is quite different. So now let us know how this mind works. So to know that, we have to know about sense organs. We have 5 sense organs. What are they? Eyes, ear, nose, tongue and skin. These are the 5 sense organs. And these 5 sense organs, always they are outward in nature. they always try to get the information pertaining to that particular sense organ. It means eyes always, they try to see the things outside, the material that outside we perceive, and it always goes out and try to look the things around. In the same way, ear, it is outward in nature, and it always this tries to listen the sound of different. In the same way, the nose is about smell, and it tries to capture, it tries to what we call smell different of the different objects that comes from outside. Clear? In the same way, the skin, feelings of touch, smoothness, hotness, and other things. So they are always they are in their work. They always try to get the information regarding this. Yes, wherever there is a thing, then eyes goes and try to get the information about that or impulses. In the same way, or different organs. So they are called Vishaya. In spiritual language, we call all Vishayas. So 5 sense organs, 5 Vishayas are there. So for eye, Vishayas, objects. For smell, for in case of nose, smell. Yes. For ear, sound. Tongue, taste. And skin, touch of the things. Feelings. These are all Vishayas. So, when we are in awakening condition, we have 3 states, as spiritual science says. One is Jagrata, Swapna, and Sushupta, we call. One is awakening condition, next dreaming condition, and third deep sleep stage, we call. Yes, awakening, dream, and deep sleep state. These are the state. 3 states. So, awakening condition means the most of the daytime we are in Jagrata Avastha, that is called awakening condition. It means we are aware of the external things, external objects, and we hear, we taste, we touch, we feel, and we can listen sounds and we can perceive the things. All this is taking place when we are in awakening condition. So when we are in awakening condition and all the sense organs, they work, they are very active and they try to grasp the things related to their, the 5 sense organs related to their 5 objects outside, 5 Vishayas outside. That is called awakening condition. Next one, dreaming. So when you go to bed and we are not completely immersed in deep sleeping condition, indulged in that, but then dreaming state is there. Sometimes we dream. So that is called dream state. And after going to bed, after some hours, and we forget the body consciousness and everything, that is called in deep sleep state. We are not aware of this world, aware of the sound or objects and everything. Yes. That state is called deep sleep state. So in awakening condition, generally what happens? The mind, how does it work? To know that, let us know how the sense organs works outside. How the sense organs work outside. If you know that, we can understand this mind and its nature and how it misguides us. So, just now I have said 5 objects are there, 5 Vishayas are there, and 5 sense organs, and always they try to get the information related to that. and they collect the information. That collected information they give to this mind. Then mind follows the sense organs. So here the problem starts. Bhagavad Gita, it explains so nicely. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidhiyate tadasya halati prajna vayurnava mivambhasi. Here, one vayurnava ivambhasi. So let me repeat the sloka. Indriyanam hi charatam yan mano anuvidhiyate tadasya harati prajna vayurnava iva ambasi. So here it is very clear. Vayu, Nava. So here Amba means the water. Yes. A is an sea, we can say an ocean, or a big lake or river. It's called Amba. Here Sri Krishna says the state of the man when mind is not in our control. Or otherwise, if you study this sloka, if you concentrate on this, the meaning of this, and we can understand how the mind works. And here Sri Krishna gives one wonderful example. So there is a lake, big lake, or a big river, let us think, and one boat, it is going, and there is no rudder. And as wind comes, as wind blows, this boat directed according to the direction of the wind, the blowing direction, and this boat goes. It means there is no particular direction of the boat itself. Clear? It is driven away by the wind, the blowing wind. In the same way, if mind follows the sense organs without questioning, without discrimination, and your life also is like the boat without rudder and driven away by the wind. So here he says, Indriyanam hi charatam yan mano anuvidhiyate. Here he said anuvidhiyate. It means the mind follows the sense organs. How? Anuvidhiyate. Vidhiyate means just obedient servant, without questioning, without asking question. What master says, he obeys. What he says, he accepts. There is no questioning. Simply he follows the master. Anuvidhiyate. What do you mean by that? When mind follows the sense organs like a obedient servant. Anuvidhiyate. What do you mean by this? So I have said that there are 5 objects or 5 vishyas related to 5 objects. Means the eye's perception. We can see the objects. In the same way, these ears, all I have said. But now what happens? These 5 sense organs always they bring that information and they give to this mind. So when the mind is not in our control, it is not channelized, then what happens? The mind blindly follows the sense organs. Then what happens? Tadasya harati prajna. And your prajna, the wisdom, is nullified. Yes? And you lost your wisdom, your prajna. So what is that? What do you mean by that? So, and to understand this, let us know about what Vedanta says, what spiritual science we have. In addition to this, we have mind, 5 sense organs, and 5 organs of action. What are the 5 organs of action? This hand is a organ of action. Then legs, and mouth. Yes, and in the same way, and remaining thing for we use an organ for urination and other things. So like this we have 5. In addition to 5 sense organs, we have 5 organs of action. Clear? So now let us understand this sloka with this perspective, so that we can understand the nature of this mind. So let me make it clear. We have mind, 5 sense organs and 5 organs of this action. So just now I have given the meaning of the shloka. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anavidhiyate tadasya harati prajna. So to make it clear, I will give one simple example. So these days you might have heard of some employees, some higher officers. They were being caught by CBI people. Some crores of rupees they accumulated in the form of bribery, not lakhs of rupees, crores of rupees. So nearly these 1 month, not 1 month, nearly 2 to 3 months gap. So we see in mass media, more than 5 to 6 higher authorities, yes, were being caught by CBI people. Yes. Now let us understand the mind, how does it work? How does it misguide? How our life is like this, more with tragedy, with restlessness, and we are not happy. There is no contented life. There is no meaningful life. There is no fruitful life. Now see here. Let us see. I have said 5 persons were being caught. Now let us think about the 5th person. 3-4 days back, he was caught by someone else, and that fellow, he watched in the TV, and he also studied about that person who was caught by the people. Yes, and he also observed that they showed him again and again, frequently. Yes, and his details, where does he work and how did he collect the amount, how much amount he collected. A story, just like a cinema story, they repeatedly showed, and this person saw that. Even then he was caught by the CBI. So he was caught by the CBI means he was corrupted. Now let us think at least. So earlier he was corrupted, and he saw that the person who was caught by someone else, and the whole world now we can say, yes, now TV being seen by the whole world people now. Nowadays that much, even net, cell phone and smartphone, and wherever you are throughout the world you can watch. So his relatives might have watched, his kith and kin might have watched. Yes, and this fellow saw that, but even then, what is the tragedy? What Lord Krishna says, Tadasya harati prajna. So you lost your wisdom. You lost your wisdom. What is that wisdom? And you know that you are a higher authority, and you got a status in the society, and you got a respect in the society, and you have the government give some facilities to you, one camp clerk, one attender to carry the files, and one vehicle. So, and other benefits you got, and you got enough salary, enough respect in the society. Yes, but then what happened when a person approaches him and he says that just you sign on this so and so file and I give 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 5 lakhs. Yes. So here what happened, his sense organs, one of the sense organs, that ear hears that. So I will give 10 lakhs by approaching that corrupted person. And he says, I give 10 lakhs. So the one of the sense organs, ear, heard that. Yes, it is always outward in nature. So that Vishaya, that object, what is that object? The sound of that money. And second, this eyes visualizes. Already got that experience. That money, bundle of money. Then by hearing that, what happens? Now sense organs brought the information and has given to this mind. Now what happened, just like Tadasya Hariti Prajna, when Indriyanami Chiratam Yanmano Anuvidhyate Tadasya Vayurnama Vivambhasi, Vayu, Nava and Amba. So the boat without rudder and driven away by the wind. And this fellow also driven away by what? This sense organs and mind, uncontrolled mind. Then what happens? By hearing that word and he forgets about his actual duty mindedness. What for I was appointed, what I have to do, what is my actual duty. Yes, the duty of, and then he knows what he has to do, and he has to serve the common people, common mass of people, ordinary people who approach his office, and he is meant for that. His services are meant for that, and salary is being paid for that. But he forgets. Then the person who approached and they got enough money. Yes, and he is approaching you and he is misguiding you to sign on a file so that it is antisocial, it is not favorable to the government, in the sense ordinary people, and you are favoring the person who is already rich. Yes, and he is misguiding you and he is trying to earn money in wrong way. Yes, you are supporting that fellow. Why? What is the reason behind it? Only the sense organs brought the ear, that sound of money and that amount you heard. Then what happened now? The mind blindly followed the sense organs. But if mind thinks that whether it is corrupt or not, so to whom I am favoring, what for? It means whether it is corrupt or wrong, and what are the consequences of this. Yes, I may sometimes one day or other day someone may catch me, and already he heard, and he in his earlier his officers might have caught by somebody, or in the society in TV he watched the same. But even then, knowing about all these facts, and he might be prisoned, that also he knows. But despite of this, that what happened here? Simply mind followed the sense organs. The mind is not in his control. Yes, that is why he lost his prajna and he has become a beggar. Already he got bank balance, he might have bank balance and enough salary and good position and my respect by the society and by the people, and all this he is there, but the mind was misguided. So this is the nature of the mind. So I have given one example, one negative example I have given. It means, say that officer is not ordinary person. He might be district level officer or state level officer, and he got enough knowledge. He is not a layman. Yes, he got enough knowledge. But what knowledge? There is no spiritual knowledge. In the first class only I said, when our life is fulfilled, complete, holistic, when you know your outward nature and inner nature. You don't know the inner nature. You don't know about your real nature. Actually, your real nature is you have to behave in a gentle way, in royal way, in a noble way. Yes. The society is giving respect in such a way. So accordingly you have to behave. Yes. That much respect society is giving, and you lost your prajna and you have forgotten all these things, and just for some that money, and what you degraded yourself. But actually what is your real nature? And we study that, we are aware that the all material that are outside, they are of very good quality. Their features are very good. Yes, they are best. The product which is being produced by any company or any what you call, from any industry, whatever the material comes out, a branded. So it has a good features, all best features. Then here, what is wrong with you now? Where is the mistake? What is wrong with you? You have enough money, bank balance and a big house, but even then you want more and more. What is the reason behind it? You are not deriving happiness with what you possess. Yes, compared to others, you have lakhs of rupees in the bank, a big house and all comforts, all scientific gadgets, but you are not in a position to derive happiness with these items, with this material. Yes? So, that is why in the beginning I said happiness is a state of mind. If you have that state of mind, you will be happy with less things or more things. So, you are not happy now. What is the reason? Yes, mind is not in your control. You don't have that state of mind. So, meditation helps that. So, why we are not leading that a purposeful life, a meaningful life, a joyful life? The reason is the mind is not allowing us in such a way. It always going out and out and out, and sense organs always it is trying to bring the information of these vishayas or objects, and it gives the information to this mind. But here what mind has to do? It has to discriminate. So this person, now let us come to the same example to understand clearly. And when the person says, I give, if you sign on a particular file, I give 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, by hearing that, what happens? The mind blindly follow. Yan mano anuvidhiyate. So he lost his prajna. When he lost his prajna, then what happens? This organs of action is provoked, motivated by the mind, and immediately, and his hands goes to his pocket or goes to the place where that phone or otherwise that pen has kept. Then he takes that pen and he signs on the paper. A matter of signature, just a fraction of time, he gets 10 lakhs rupees. But if mind is in his control, a man of study wisdom, then what happens here? He hears the same, but mind does not follow the sense organs blindly. Clear? Then he says 5 lakhs, and he kept quiet. Yes, his prajna is working. 20 lakhs he says, still it's sight. It means his hands never goes to his pocket or to the table where it has kept, and he is like that only, steady. There is no movement. Yes, and But when it is not in control, it is tempted, just like Vayunam Vambasi, when there is no discrimination, then what happens? And he takes out that pen, and everything is, that. But what is the result? One day or other day, he's being caught. And same thing, TV, read, what you call in paper, his photo comes, or they show and present, yes, everything. But knowingly, the people are doing this. So this is one example. This example we can understand that how does mind works. Is it clear? So thus the mind is misguiding us. It means when you are in awakening condition, the sense organs are always outward and they brings the information, but here the mind has to think whether it is good or bad, whether that work degrades me or yes, enhance me, whether it is a filthy activity or good activity, whether it is a bad action or good action. What is the result of consequences of this action? And you can think. Then the faculty of the buddhi, the mind, just now I have said no, the mind now becomes buddhi, the discriminating power, discriminates between what is good and what is bad. So that faculty, discrimination power, we have to get. Then what happens when we get that faculty of discrimination, when it is activated, when it is good condition, then we lead a comfortable life. So meditation helps us to control this mind. The mind becomes buddhi. The discrimination power works. It means always when you are in an awakening condition, whenever the mind brings the sense organs brings the information, and mind does not follow the sense organs blindly, and it discriminates before, then the action takes place. If it is worthy, good and better, then what happens? You work. Otherwise, if it is something wrong, it degrades you, it is antisocial, it is against your real nature, then what happens? The mind does not follow the sense organs. But in most of the cases, it is not happening. So once Ranganathanji Maharaj, he gave one example in his talk. So once a rich lady, she went to fetch certain things, material in a supermarket, and she got enough money in her purse. Then she went there, but she collected some items, and kept in her pocket, and she was caught. And the receptionist there, who collects money and other things, dollars and other things, and he posed one question. So you are so gentle by looking, and you got enough money, yes, in your pocket, then why did you steal? She has stolen. They asked her this question, why did you steal? Then she said, no, something happened to me. Unknowingly it happened. Yes, she got enough money. Yes, but what was the reason behind it? What Lord Krishna says happened. Indriyanam. It means by seeing that, she attracted by certain objects, and she felt like possessing that. Like it happened like that. Sometimes it happens. And he gave that example. Yes, this is the nature of the mind. Yes, we have understood to some extent, I think, how does the mind work in awakening condition. And secondly, now we are trying to know about the nature of the mind. How does it work? What for? So that we can control the mind easily. It means our meditation becomes simple if you know about these things. And secondly, the mind has conscious, subconscious and superconscious, 3 states. That also we should know. And another thing, the mind, nature, in order to know the nature of the mind, whatever you think, whatever you act, so whatever you interact outside in the world, that impressions are recorded in the mind. So, for example, you take a lake, you drop a stone, then what happens? The waves comes, vrittis, but after some times and they disappear. But in case of this mind, chitta vritta we call. Chitta, it is also a lake, like a lake it is compared in spiritual science. And here stone means one thought, one action from outside. But in case of stone in the lake, that waves disappear. But in case of mind, that what happens? That is recorded. That is recorded. And they are called samskaras. They are called samskaras. So, for example, a person character, what Swami Vivekananda says, character is judged by, character is nothing but sum total of his tendencies, called samskaras. What do you mean by tendencies? They are collective hobbies. What do you mean by hobby? Repeatedly doing one action. Say for example, I wake up at 4 o'clock. Yes, one day I wake up. We won't call it is a hobby. So I drink tea just once, one day, in one month or 1 week. Just once I say, yes, I have drunk tea. No, it is not a hobby. But repeatedly, say, continuously, if you 10 days, 20 days, day, morning and evening, then it is called a hobby. Yes. And in the same way, I wake up at 4 o'clock. Daily, if you do that, then it becomes a hobby. Yes. So like that, some hobbies, different, good hobbies, waking up at 4 o'clock. Okay. Next time, completion or ablution, and next, prayer and meditation. Daily you are doing this. It is another hobby. Yes. Afterwards, you do your duty, and in your duty you do work nicely, and whenever somebody come across the poor and downtrodden, you help him, and repeatedly you do that. It is a regular activity. Whenever time permits and you happen to see him, you will help him, and that is also a hobby, serving the people. So now these 3 hobbies together become your samskaras. Clear? So all these samskaras together become your character. So our character is formed or judged, formed by the samskaras, that impressions. That impressions are collected hobbies. Hobbies are repeatedly doing. So if you do good things repeatedly, continuously, if you read good books continuously, if you watch good, if you listen good music, or if you watch anything good in the, maybe it is a TV or phone, continuously good, then what happens? That impressions are there, good impressions are being stored in your mind. They are impressions, we call samskaras, they are impressions. So they are there. So all good impressions are there in your mind, then your mind is filled with good impressions and they convert into action. It means your actions also good. So what Swamiji says, Swami Vivekananda says, if you always think bad, listen or speak and do, and your mind is filled with the bad samskaras, and without your will, and you try to do always bad only. But if your mind is filled with all good samskaras, good thoughts, good ideas, then what happens? Positive thoughts, then you feel like doing good always. Yes, that is about mind. So to know the nature of mind, what you have to understand. Second thing, first one, in awakening condition, mind, sense organs brings the information, mind follows first. And second, mind, whatever the impressions are there, it is recorded, it is called. Chitragupta, we might have heard. Chitragupta, So what Chitragupta, what does he do? Noting down the, what you call, merits and demerits of the person. Yes, secretly. And final day he decides whether, our epic myth says that, whether you go to hell or heaven. Yes, but in the same way, this mind is also a Chitragupta. It is recording secretly. Yes. Other day I gave example that in ATM, whenever you go there, and one person, he enters, and then he tried to theft something, and he succeeded, but he was caught. And how did it happen? Yes, there is one camera. Yes, secretly it records everything right from your entrance. Yes, everything it records. Yes, Chitragupta, that is. It is recording, hiddenly. You are not aware of that. In the same way, our mind also, it is recording whatever you see, you read, you work. Yes. Then that is called samskaras. That is called impressions. So when you are in awakening condition, these two things are going. That is why in we in our day-to-day life, we hear that when some criminals, when somebody he tries to investigate and he did not reveal everything. Yes, if you ask any question and if you want to find out the way what did he do, yes, but what happens? He did not reveal everything. He kept quiet. And narcoanalysis test, lie detecting test, you might have heard. So by administering certain chemicals and a kind of hypnotizing condition also, then what happens in hypnosis? Then what happens? By administering all these things, then he tells everything. But in the beginning, in cautious state, he did not tell anything. Yes, but by applying all this, by administering all these things, then what happens? He reveals. Then what happened actually? It is in subconscious mind, they are recorded and they awakens and he tries to tell everything. So thus the mind, this is the nature of the mind. So when you are in awakening condition, how it is working, we have understood. So this is the nature of the mind, the way it works. Cautious condition or Jagrata Avastha. That is why we should be very aware of this. We should be very aware. So in meditation what happens? We control that mind. But here I give an example of the same and try to wind up. So the corrupted person example I have given. Yes. Here the mind was not in his control. Mind was not in his control. That is why he did something wrong. But when mind is in your control, then what happens? It acts properly. So actually, we have to control the mind. In truly speaking, we have to control the mind. Why? Means we want to lead a worthy life. So nobody thinks that I have to lead a useless life, a waste life, and all the society should oppose me, insult me. Yes, he never thinks. Disrespect me. So he thinks that I should be respected by the society. Everybody should give respect. I should lead a nice life, a joyful life, a worthy life, a good life. Yes. But when comes to action, but he is not like so. He is in the control of mind. He is in the clutches of the mind. So that is why all these things are taking place. So when we do meditation, when you succeed to some extent, then the mind is in your control and it works according to your will and wish. So you want to lead a good life, a better life, a best life, a higher life, a noble life, a gentle life, a royal life. But actions are against that. Yes, we want all these things, but actions are quite opposite to that. The only reason is mind is not in your control. So why that person, why this corruption? Because mind is not in his control. If mind is in his control, then what happens? He is like that, a good officer. He is like a good officer. Nobody thinks that I have to go to jail. Yes, and everybody should disrespect. Never thinks. Is it not so? But the result of not handling the mind, these problems are arising. So let us try to know more about this mind, and then in next class we go for the process of meditation. So other day said meditation is not simply closing the eyes, and unless and until you know the nature of the mind, yes, how does it work, you cannot control the mind, because in meditation mind itself is the equipment. Yes, the problematic is mind, and with that mind we have to do the meditation. That is why we should know about the mind. So we proceed in next period. लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.